welcome to week 4, day 4 of Sing for Hull. My name is Siddle and I'm a woodwind teacher with Hull Music Service. In this video I'm going to be talking to you all about the instruments of the week, which is the saxophone. But first, let's find out what the fun fact of the day is. So my fact is that the title of our song, Waka Waka, actually means to burn brightly or to shine or blaze in Swahili. The saxophone was invented by a Belgian instrument maker called Alto Sax in about 1840. He wanted to change the sound and the look and feel of the already existent instruments at the time. So he came up with lots of different designs and ranked them in order of pitch and size. And after he developed them over about 6 years, he came up with the list of the instruments that we know today. That list goes from the highest pitched instrument, which is called a sopranino, all the way down through the ranges and different pitches to the bottom where we would find a contrabass. Now, because the instrument was invented by a man called Alto Sax, that's where the name saxophone comes from. Now, even though the saxophone is made of brass, it is a member of the woodwind family. That is because it's played using a mouthpiece and, most importantly, a reed, which is something that I'll talk a little bit later on about. Now, the woodwind family consists of other main instruments as well, and in this family you'd find the flute, the clarinet, the oboe, the bassoon and the recorder, along with the saxophone. Now, there's a wide range of saxophones, like we've already said, so from the sopranino all the way down to the contrabass. But there's 4 main saxes that we tend to deal with and play. These are called the soprano, the alto, the tenor and the baritone. Now, here is an alto saxophone. So this one is one that you'd mainly find you'd start on at school, the first saxophone you'd play, because they're quite big and they're quite heavy. So that's the alto. And then here is a tenor saxophone. So look at the difference in size. We've got the alto here and then the tenor saxophone. So these are probably the most commonly played saxophones. The soprano is smaller than the alto. You can get them that look like this, so curly ones, or you can get them that are straight. They look a little bit like a clarinet, but obviously they're gold. And then the baritone saxophone is even bigger than the tenor, and that's a quite heavy instrument to play, so it's quite rare that you would play that one when you first start off. Most people would start on this one and then maybe move on to this one and have a go at playing the others as well. The saxophone is really good because once you've learned the fingers and where your fingers need to go for the different notes, you can play all of the saxophones. They've got the same finger patterns and same notes that you need to play. You just maybe have to change your mouth shape a little bit. So saxophones actually come in 5 parts, and unlike other instruments where you might just take them out of the case or tune them up a little bit or put a mouthpiece on and then you're ready to play, we actually have to build a saxophone and put all those parts together. That's the same with all woodwind instruments. So I'm now going to show you how I put my saxophone together. Now, I tend to start at the top. So I start with the crook, and then I'm going to add the mouthpiece onto the crook. So just twist it on, like so. Now, if you can see, there's actually a hole in the mouthpiece here. So there's a part that's really, really important to cover up that hole. That part is here. This is called a reed. It's basically a little bit of cane, and they come in lots of different strengths. So that's basically the thickness of the cane or the reed. So what happens is I need to pop that reed onto the mouthpiece and cover up the hole. So when I blow down it, it will work. But instead of holding the reed in place with my thumb, I'm going to use this, which is called a ligature, to hold it in place. So we pop that over the top, tighten it up, and it holds the reed in place, so I don't need to use my thumb anymore. So then what happens, the way it works, is when I blow air into the mouthpiece, the air that I'm blowing in will vibrate against the reed really, really, really quickly, and that's what creates the sound. So let's see if it works. That's it. So the reed is so important on a saxophone. If I take that reed off or it gets broken and I blow, it's not going to work at all. So you've got to try and keep these really safe, really nice, so that the saxophone will work. So I'll just put it back on. Then if I attach the crook and the mouthpiece and the reed and the ligature, everything that we've just put together, onto the main body of the saxophone, we should be able to make a sound out of the whole thing. So now if I attach the sling onto the back, so the sling is basically just an item that helps you hold the saxophone in place because it's really quite heavy, so you wouldn't be able to hold it without the help of a sling. So it just sits around your neck and helps you take the weight of the instrument. So to demonstrate what the alto saxophone sounds like, here is the theme from a film. So this is an example of what the tenor saxophone sounds like. Now this little tune is from a really famous cartoon, and in this cartoon there is a girl who plays the saxophone, but she actually plays the baritone saxophone, so the big one of the family. Saxophones are a very versatile instrument, so that means they can play lots of different types of music and be part of different ensembles, bands or orchestras. They do play classical music, and they can be seen at times in orchestras and also in chamber groups, so that's a few musicians all playing together. They'd also be seen in a wind band or a concert band, in marching bands, military bands, but most commonly perhaps in jazz groups, so a big band or a jazz combo or a jazz orchestra. They are also used as a member of a horn section. Now in our Albemarle BroadBand, the horn section lineup that we have is the saxophone, the trumpet and the trombone. In the version of Waka Waka that the Albemarle BroadBand are playing tomorrow, live for you at 1:30, there is a certain moment when all the horn section come together and play in harmony, and it sounds really, really good. So this is what the saxophone will be playing in the band. So the saxophone will be joined by the trumpet and also the trombone, so you'll have to have a listen and see if you can hear it or even spot it on the video, and it'll sound really good when all of those instruments play together. I hope you've enjoyed watching this week's videos. Please visit our website, which is coolmusical.com, follow us on Twitter and like our Facebook page, and hopefully you will join us tomorrow at 1:30 as we sing along to the Albemarle BroadBand with Waka Waka.